It's been legal to marry a dead person since the 19th century in France. Don't worry, this is anywhere near as bad as it sounds. Since the 19th century, marrying a corpse, aka necromancy, has been legal in France. This dates back to times when being born out of wedlock was a social taboo. If your husband died in battle before you could get married, and you were pregnant, necromancy made your children legitimate. The dead's consent is established by family members or an existing engagement. The law took its specific, current form in 1959 after a dam burst, killing 423 people. As recently as 2017, a victim of terrorism married his partner posthumously.
Have you ever wondered if it's legal to marry a dead person? A question that's as unusual as it is intriguing. Well, believe it or not, in France, this has been a legal practice since the 19th century. And no, it's not as eerie as it might sound. It's a tale that takes us through time, social norms, and even tragedy. So, hold on to your seats because we're about to dive deep into the history of necromancy in France. Necromancy, or marrying the dead, dates back to the 19th century in France. It's a practice that might seem macabre, but it emerged from a deeply human need, the desire for social acceptance. In those days, being born out of wedlock was considered a grave scandal, a stain on a family's reputation that could follow an individual throughout their life. Necromancy offered a solution to this problem. Imagine a young woman in love with a soldier. They plan to marry, but before they can, he's called away to fight. Tragically, he dies in battle. The woman discovers she's pregnant. In order to avoid the social stigma of having a child out of wedlock, she could choose to marry her deceased fiancé. This is where necromancy comes into play. But how could the dead give their consent to marry? It seems like an impossible question. However, the French found a way around it. If the couple was engaged before the death of one partner, the engagement was considered sufficient evidence of their intent to marry. Family members could also vouch for the couple's plans to wed. This practice wasn't just a loophole for the living, it was also a way to honor the dead, to fulfill their wishes and intentions even after their untimely demise. It was a way for love to endure, even in the face of death. So, necromancy wasn't just about avoiding social stigma, it was also about love, commitment, and respect for the dead. It was a way for the living to carry out the wishes of their loved ones, to ensure their memory lived on, and to give their children a legitimate place in society. As strange as it may seem today, necromancy was a deeply meaningful and important practice for many people in 19th century France. It offered a solution to a social problem, provided a way to honor the dead, and enabled love to endure beyond the grave. So necromancy became a means to legitimate children born out of an unfortunate circumstance. Tragedy struck in 1959, leading to a significant change in the laws around necromancy. The Malpasset Dam in the French Riviera gave way, sending a torrent of water that claimed the lives of 423 people. This catastrophe, one of the deadliest in French history, brought about a profound shift in the nation's consciousness and its legal system. In the aftermath of this disaster, many of the victims were found to be engaged couples, with weddings planned but never realized due to the sudden catastrophe. This brought about a pressing question. What about the surviving halves of these couples? What about the children they may have had together, born out of wedlock due to a cruel twist of fate? The French government responded to this human tragedy with a surprising solution. They evolved their existing law on necromancy, allowing the surviving partners to marry their deceased fiancés posthumously. This meant that any children born to these couples would be considered legitimate, and the surviving partners could also benefit from any legal and financial protections marriage offered. The law took its specific current form in the aftermath of the Malpasset Dam disaster. The French government, in an effort to provide some comfort and closure to those left behind, allowed these posthumous marriages to take place. The only requirement was that there was clear evidence of the deceased's intent to marry while they were still alive, typically established through a family's testimony or an existing engagement. The Malpasset Dam disaster, therefore, had a lasting impact on France's legal landscape. It served as a poignant reminder of the fragility of life and the importance of protecting those left behind in the wake of tragedy. It also highlighted the nation's compassionate approach to lawmaking, where even in death, love and commitment could be recognized and honored. The dam disaster not only left a mark on the nation's history, but also on its legal system. It reminded us that laws, at their heart, are about humanity, about recognizing and responding to the complex tapestry of human experiences with empathy and understanding. Necromancy is not a forgotten practice of the past. It is still legal and practiced in France. Yes, even in our modern times, this seemingly archaic tradition finds relevance, providing a unique balm to the wounds of loss and grief. Let's delve into one poignant example from recent history. The year was 2017. France, along with the rest of the world, was reeling from the aftermath of a brutal act of terrorism. Amidst the sorrow and the shock, an unusual story began to unfold. A man, a victim of this horrific incident, was posthumously married to his partner. This was not a symbolic act or a mere gesture of remembrance. It was a legal ceremony, recognized by the law of the land. The man's partner, left to grapple with an unimaginable loss, found solace in this act of necromancy. The ceremony, steeped in centuries-old tradition, provided a sense of closure, a final farewell that was both personal and profound. It was a testament to their love, undying and unwavering even in the face of death. This is just one among many instances where necromancy has been practiced in modern times. Each case is unique, each story deeply personal. But they all share a common thread: the enduring human desire to keep loved ones close, to honor their memories, even after they have departed from this world. While the practice may seem unusual to many, it serves a significant purpose for those who choose to engage in it. The law, in its wisdom, recognizes this need and provides a legal framework for these unique unions to take place. In a world where the norms of love and marriage are continually evolving, necromancy holds a unique place. It challenges our notions of what it means to be married, to be committed to another person. It reminds us that love, in its many forms, can transcend even the most formidable barrier, that of death. Even in the 21st century, the law allowing necromancy continues to provide solace to grieving partners. As we move forward, it remains to be seen how this practice will evolve and adapt to the changing times. Despite its unusual nature, the law allowing necromancy continues to persist in French law. Even in the 21st century, this practice remains a legal possibility, albeit rarely invoked. Today, necromancy is not as prevalent as it was in the past, largely due to changing social norms and attitudes. However, it is still a part of the French legal system, a testament to its historical significance and its role in shaping societal norms. The process of posthumous marriage is not as simple as one might imagine. It requires a significant amount of paperwork, including obtaining permission from the President of France. The deceased's family must also give their consent, and there must be compelling evidence that the deceased intended to marry their partner before their death. It's not an easy process, and it's not one that's entered into lightly. Despite the rarity of its occurrence, posthumous marriage has not lost its relevance. It's seen as a way to honor a lost loved one, to fulfill a promise that was made but could not be kept due to unforeseen circumstances. It is a manifestation of love that transcends death, a testament to the enduring nature of human bonds. The perception of necromancy today is mixed. Some view it as an outdated practice that has no place in modern society. Others, however, see it as a poignant expression of love and commitment, a way to honor the memory of a deceased partner. Regardless of these differing views, it's undeniable that necromancy is a unique aspect of French law and culture. In the grand scheme of things, posthumous marriage serves as a reminder of how societal norms and laws can evolve to address unique circumstances. It's a reflection of human resilience and the lengths we are willing to go to in the name of love and commitment. Necromancy, a practice born out of social necessity in the 19th century, continues to be an intriguing aspect of French law. So there you have it, a journey through time exploring the rather unusual practice of necromancy in France. This unique custom, dating back to the 19th century, is steeped in social necessity and wartime exigency. Born out of the need to legitimize children conceived out of wedlock, it rose to prominence when soldiers, destined for the altar, met untimely ends on the battlefield. Their betrothed, often left with child, could still claim the sanctity of marriage, their children bestowed with legitimacy. Fast forward to the tragedy of 1959, when a dam burst and claimed 423 lives. This disaster led to a reformulation of the law, further entrenching necromancy in French legal custom. In more recent times, this practice, far from being a historical footnote, has seen a resurgence. As recently as 2017, a victim of terrorism was posthumously married, underscoring the relevance and endurance of this extraordinary tradition. Necromancy in France, therefore, is not merely a relic of a bygone era, but a living testament to the nation's unique approach to love, loss, and the law. Today, it serves as a means of mourning, a way for the bereaved to find closure, and a poignant reminder of a love that transcends the mortal plane. From a social necessity to a means of mourning, necromancy continues to hold a unique place in French law and society.